Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish will be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed him, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep? And have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? Their voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Ah, da da dee da da do. La da la da la dee da. Here I am again, back in the chair. It's New Year's Eve. I've just gotten home from work, and I'm thinking about a lot of things. And I'm thinking about how this is the first time one of these is going to be public. I do this thing every year where I like to recap my year so that later in life, if I'm having a hard time, or if I'm having a good time, I can remember that maybe things used to be worse, maybe they used to be better, but they've never been public because I've never had a reason to make them public. And I hope one day maybe these can be shown to somebody in my life that never got to meet me. but maybe are interested in knowing more about me, you know. But I don't know if that's the case or if it'll ever be the case, but regardless, it's New Year's Eve 2021, 9:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm thinking the most about the year. This was the year I was going to move. I was going to move out into my own place, closer to friends that I could see frequently and do stuff with, and we had a lot of plans, and that fell through hard. Not from lack of trying, but from just everything working against me. But this was also the first year, I'm going to consider it the first year anyway, of getting to know my niece. My niece, Paisley. Paisley's only a year old now. She grew to be a year old in October. And she is the sweetest thing I've ever met. Both of my nieces, I love them phenomenally, but she's, I guess, the first biological niece, not that it matters. And it's nice to know that there's a kid in my life that I can do things for that I never got to do for myself. Because the fact is, I may never have a kid, you know? There's always time, but, you know. But it's nice to know that she's around and I can buy her stuff, maybe teach her some things that I wish people were able to teach me, you know. A lot of time for that, I hope. This was also the year that the YouTube channel took off, and thus the reason why I'm making this public this year. Other versions in the past were audio only, or I just written them down, you know. But this year it's going to be video production. There's lights around me. There's a camera on me. There's a microphone on. All that stuff. And it was because of that YouTube channel that I met a lot of other people who were just like me. Just making YouTube videos for fun. And I got to make a little bit of money this year off of it. Enough to where I now have to report it on taxes. So that's fun. It was also the year I built my dream computer, I guess. Not specs-wise, but just looks-wise. It's something I'd always wanted to do. And I had enough to do it. Enough time, enough money, and I got all that done. I was able to quit my job for a few months and just focus on making YouTube videos. And I still could have just kept doing that, but without that structure in my life of having to get up to go do something, I spent a lot of time in bed and wallowing. And so after everything fell through with the house and the move and things, I was supposed to move in a couple states away. I went back to my old job and they took me back in an instant. And I'm never going to forget that. I was also able to go full-time at that job, get better, more consistent hours, better pay. I became sort of a shift lead type deal. I mean, things have just gotten better. They're not the way that I want them to be yet, but that's gonna take time to really get that, moving and off the ground. Uh, Christmas was nice. For the first time in a long time, on Christmas I was able to just not wallow in self-pity, I guess. Just, without giving too much away, Christmas is not a time that I enjoy anymore. Uh, I like the feeling of Christmas, but celebrating Christmas always feels empty. It always feels hollow. And there's a number of reasons for that, but none of them that anybody should really care about right now. A new Ghostbusters movie came out. That was pretty cool, because that movie's been in the works for a couple of years, and I've been so excited for it, but it just kept getting delayed because there was so much going on in the world with the pandemic and everything that it kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and it finally came out, and it was anything I could have asked for and more. I don't think I could ask for them to have done anything differently. It's not like the perfect movie, I wouldn't say, but it was definitely a step in the right direction after the last one. And that movie also made me think a lot about past years. And everything's just gotten a little better, I guess, in a sense. Spider-Man was good too. I really liked Spider-Man. I really missed going to the movies in general. That was always my thing. Whenever I felt bad, I could just go to the movies. I've treated myself much better this year than I think I ever have. My self-confidence has gone through the roof, I think. Because I started doing just small things that I've never done before. I started putting pomade in my hair to make it stay the way that I want it to stay, and that gives me less worry because I don't have to worry about how my hair looks because I know how it looks because I've already gone through this, and it stays this way all the time. And that's great. And I've never done that before. And when I started doing it, I started feeling a lot better about myself too. I think I've been sleeping better. I've been getting off caffeine, as much caffeine. I still drink soda, but you move from Mountain Dew and Pepsi to Sprite, and I sleep a lot better now. I've gotten better with my editing. I was able to hire a full-time employee at one point, Edwin. He was getting paid for his work, so don't, so nobody feel bad for him. He was getting paid. Not anymore. We're not, I would still pay him, but we both went back to our jobs, so, I mean, we just, neither of us have time to go all in on the whole YouTube thing like we were. And I'm thinking I'm just sitting here thinking back on the year and how it's ending and how I proved to myself that if I put enough time and effort into something, I can make it pay off if I really, really want it to. And I'm pretty proud of that. I'm pretty proud of that fact. And I don't think there's any position I'd rather be in right now. Because even though the move fell through, I'm still thriving, and I was heartbroken and depressed for a few weeks, but I'm much better now, much better than I was then, I suppose. The new year is going to bring in a lot of video ideas that I want to cover. There's a new series that I've been trying my best to get off the ground, but it just hasn't been working out. Not for lack of trying. It's mostly just small issues that make it impossible to proceed. But the idea is big enough in my head that I was willing to shell money out for a graphics card in the midst of a shortage and supply uh, hindrance so bad that everything's marked up 2 or 3 times, and I was able to just bite that bullet and go all in because I needed that extra power to make it work. But with all that being said, I feel glad that I can look back on this year and everything that I was able to do with myself and tell myself, you earned it.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And that's part of what rainbows do. Rainbows are memories, sweet dream reminders of what it is you like to do. All of us watching and wishing we find it. I noticed you're watching too. Someday you'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and life's like a movie, write your own ending. Keep believing, keep pretending. We've done just what we set out to do. Thanks to the lovers, the dreamers, and you.